The Antarctic Germans, an overview. In February 2024, I discovered the Secret Space Program-testimonies by Jason Rice. I was quite impressed with the rather detailed timeline he provided regarding the history of what he calls the Antarctic Germans. This article shares that information about the early days of the Nachtwaffen/Dark Fleet from the 1930s to the 1990s. If you thought the main powers in the Cold War after the Second World War were the US and the Soviet Union, you might have missed a very important third party, probably more powerful than the Cabal and the Soviet Union: the Antarctic Nazi Germans.
Dark Fleet in earlier articles. This isn't the first time that we talk about the Nazi Germans from Antarctica and their space program. You can find an overview of all related articles in the Galactic Anthropology Library. You can watch a short film made by Dr. Salla on YouTube about this topic. Jason Rice. Jason Rice appeared on Gaia's Cosmic Disclosure. He is a Secret Space Program participant. He was part of a force that was established after 1991, called the Interplanetary Defense and Reaction Forces, IDARF. He has spoken a lot about his own experiences, but this article focuses on his historical assessment of the role of the Antarctic Germans. A chronological overview. First contact. Jason Rice starts off in the 1930s in Germany. He says that the Germans at the time were very interested in esoteric mysticism, which would have played a part in them opening up to all kinds of alternative perspectives on life, including the reality of extraterrestrial contacts, around 1936, 1937. The Germans began their communication with the Dracos. They were told by the Dracos, or the Siakar, that there was technology to be found in Antarctica, and thus they started a mission to the most southern continent of our world. Captain Alfred Richer was the captain of the ship Schwabenland, who headed the Deutschen Antarktische expedition to New Schwabenland. Return from Antarctica, the invasion of Poland and Antarctic developments. One of the things that I appreciate in the account of Jason Rice is that he impressively links events related to the Antarctic Germans with world events that we recognize. After Captain Richer returned from the mission in Antarctica in February 1939, the Germans felt confident enough to invade Poland a few months later, which started the Second World War. The Nazis developed their spaceships in the comfortably warm caverns below the ice of Antarctica. They would have created Antarctic spaces that could house 300,000 people. Hitler and the Cabal. From friends to foes. In the 1930s, the Cabal would have financed the rise of Adolf Hitler and the NSDAP, National Socialist German Workers' Party. After a while, Hitler didn't like to cooperate with the Cabal and their collective of central banks, as he preferred to barter with other parties and countries directly. He decided to cut ties with the Cabal. This didn't go down well with the Cabal, which would have played a huge role in the war that ensued against Nazi Germany by the US. The Cabal didn't like anyone opposing them. Moon and Mars missions by the AGs. In 1940, the Antarctic Germans managed to have their first mission to the moon with assistance of the Dracos. They were able to expand and build up their base in Antarctica through the extensive use of their U-boats. They had another mission in 1944, and they had some Mars mission with scouting ships. In 1947, they established their first base on the moon after a deal with the Siakar, which granted them a piece of 20 acres of moon land in return for 225 people and the worth of 25 years of first refusal rights for their Draco technology. Between 1947 and 1952, the AGs would have lost some 1,000 people in the construction of their moon base. The space equipment of the Germans had this funny mix of highly advanced technology with technology from the 1940s. After the war, the space developments by the AGs apparently didn't go fast enough for the Germans to influence the outcome of the Second World War on the European continent. Although we were led to believe that this was the end of the German Third Empire, the Antarctic Germans remained very influential. How did they do that? Operation High Jump and Operation Windmill Second. German infiltration in the world? Many of us have heard about Operation High Jump and Admiral Byrd,